Well, change is one of the few constants in life, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Even when you're stepping into something exciting like a new opportunity or a fresh start in a new place, the process can still stir up fear, doubt, and a whole mix of emotions that we didn't expect.
That's right. Whether it's leaving a job, moving to a different country,
or both.
Yeah, or both, or making any kind of big life shift, the journey can feel overwhelming. So how do we navigate change with grace, clarity, and a little more peace of mind? So we are joined by licensed therapist and our friend Poncer to help us understand the concept of change.
Hey there.
Hi, friend.
Hi, friends. I'm so happy to be back in this seat.
Yeah, so happy to have you back, especially on this kind of farewell show. Yeah.
Well,
I really wanted to have you back here and talk one more time with you.
Well, I am so excited to be back, and I think change is a part of life.
It is.
It's inevitable, and so we always have to think about how do we navigate change in a way that brings about peace of mind, clarity, and in a way that promotes personal growth. And so I'm so excited to talk about this topic.
Yes, yeah. So let's dive into it. So why can change, even when it's positive, right, feel so overwhelming or emotional?
I think when we think about change, let's talk about it. It is about deviating from your norm. It is disruptive, and that doesn't always mean that it's negative. As you stated, it could be about a new career. It could be taking on a new challenge at your job. But when we think about change, we have to think about it from the standpoint of it is something out of my norm. I am moving away from my status quo, and there are going to be a variety of emotions that accompany it. But it's completely normal to feel fear and change, but be able to recognize what I'm experiencing and what I need to do in order to progress.
Like that.
Let's talk about some of the common stages that people go through when they're making these big life transitions.
So let's talk. We actually referenced some of those life transitions earlier. It could be getting married, stepping into motherhood, sometimes navigating a divorce, or either starting or launching a new business, changing career paths, or it could be significant loss such as death or having an illness. So those are some significant life stressors. And although some of those are positive and some are not so, some of those don't feel so good, we can always say, how do I navigate this in a way that brings about some form of balance? And so you're going to always experience a variety of emotions. Some of those emotions could be anxiety, fear of the uncertainty, what may or may not happen. I think as human beings, we always try to be in control, but life is so unpredictable. So sometimes we can experience that anxiety of like, what if I fail? What if I succeed? Because some people are actually afraid of success. And then there's going to be sometimes anger and frustration because sometimes change is uninvited. Sometimes we may become the caregivers to our parents.
Very true.
And that is going to cause us to have to maybe not prioritize ourselves in the way that we once did, or maybe step away from other activities that we were once involved in. And then sometimes you just feel overwhelmed because now the situation requires you to maybe create new habits, new mindsets, new routines, or new schedules. So there's a variety of emotions that you can experience. You just have to learn how to understand what you're experiencing, why you're experiencing, and come up with a plan for how to make progress.
Plan, yes. Always have a plan.
Only
That's
certainty
important.
is uncertainty.
Exactly.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yes. Now, how can someone tell the difference between fear that is holding them back and a fear that is natural part of growth?
Oh, that's a good question. So one of the most noticeable ways that I like to think about it is when I look at the fear, what is the fear causing me to do? Or what is the fear causing us not to do? So when we think about fear, it's really rooted in risk and danger. We have these mental scenarios of doom and gloom. What may happen? Will I be harmed? Will this set me back? And so when we are thinking about that, we have to sort of arrest that mindset. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself, talk back to the negative thoughts, and say, hey, I have been in worse situations before. I've overcome hardships before, but I also realize and believe that I can also manage this particular challenge as well. When fear is holding you back, you're often stuck. You're not even making small steps towards your goals. And sometimes you are showing up as being a procrastinator. You may be avoiding the situation, or it may show up as perfectionism. But when it's keeping you stuck and it's debilitating, that's when you can tell that fear is holding you back.
Very good.
So let's talk about some tools or practices that we can use to implement to stay grounded and mentally healthy.
I would say, first and foremost, try your best to take care of yourself and your body. That means getting quality rest between 7 and 8 hours, making sure that you're eating nutritious foods that fuel your body, moving your body regularly, even if that's just walking 10 minutes a day. That even helps. I also believe in practicing gratitude daily, making sure that you are training your mind to focus on the things that are going well, because there is a tendency when we're in that situation to think about all of the negative aspects of it. But there is something, even in that moment, that you have to be able to say, I am still grateful that although this is not going as planned, I'm still grateful for these things that are going well. Also, if you are a person of faith, I encourage you to read, pray, get in your scriptures, because research has always found that spirituality actually provides a source of hope, encouragement, and comfort. I would also say, if you are in a situation and you may have made some mistakes or some missteps, and you found yourself in that situation, forgive yourself. Because if you knew then what you knew now, you would not have made that decision.
Yes.
That's a big one right there.
Yes, 100%. Now, for anyone watching who is facing a big decision or is standing at a crossroads, so what is your best advice for moving forward with clarity and confidence?
I want to say the first thing that I think people should do when you are initiating a change, not a change that's sort of forced upon you, is to make a plan. And we talked about that earlier. Make a plan. Think about what your goals are. Think about what steps are needed in order to work towards that goal, and have deadlines associated with each step. Also, consult with your friends, consult with professionals or those that are already in that lane or in that field, that you maybe, if it's related to a career change, that are already in that practicing lane, so to speak. Also, I would absolutely say, take time to do deep self-reflection. Ask yourself, what has happened that has caused me to be at these crossroads that I'm experiencing? Why am I at this point? Why am I here? What has happened? What behaviors, mindsets, and also what have we allowed? What I have come to realize is that oftentimes what we allow has impeded our growth.
Yes.
All right, you got all that?
I know, I love the tips. It was a lot. So relatable. Thank you. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
Always good to see you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good to see you as well.